Welcome to Tiger Bridge. In this video, we will demonstrate using Tiger Bridge to synchronize data between different machines. For this demo, we have set up a file server, the machine with the blue background, and a desktop computer, the machine with the purple background. Note the 3-hour time difference. The two machines are set up in different time zones. This can happen when they are situated at great distances from one another. We will start by setting up the needed configuration on the file server. If we open Tiger Bridge, we can see that this is a fresh installation. Nothing is yet configured, and Bridge is in a pause state as it is not yet performing anything. We will need to add a source, and that is going to be the location of your enterprise class data. For us, this is this directory called local. We will click OK to apply that change. If we open the source directory in Windows Explorer, we can see it currently has some files and folders inside of it. Going back to Tiger Bridge, we can add the target on the cloud. That target is going to be used to store the data we are synchronizing. We will work with Amazon S3. Select that option and click OK. Then we need to enter the respective Amazon S3 account information, the account name, and access key. An administrator with Amazon rights can get that information. Once we have the information in place, we can click the List Buckets button and select the appropriate bucket for us to sync with. We will select this one and click Apply. Now the source and its target are configured. We can then go to the Replication Policy section and specify how much time after a change we would like to wait before this change is replicated to the cloud. We would like to be able to demonstrate a very quick sync, so we can set a very low number, like 5 seconds. If your environment does not require that fast synchronization, you can leave the default value of 1 minute or make it even bigger. We need to click Apply to save our changes. The next important thing is the synchronization configuration. We need to click the button Add Sync and specify our preferences. There are a couple of settings on this screen. The first one is called Notify. Its purpose is to set how often the other parties that are in sync should be notified about the changes that are happening. 1 second is a good value for our demo. We can leave it like this. It is worth mentioning that for the sync to work, the other parties do not need to be turned on. Even if they are offline when the change happens, they will receive their notifications when they get powered back on and will be able to apply them and get synced. The next setting here is called Listen. Its purpose is to set how often a machine that participates in synchronization checks if there are active notifications for it. If it is set to a very low number, like 1 second, we would get the fastest sync, but that would require communication with the cloud each second. That could add load to the machine and can potentially generate cost. That is why it is important to consider the desired workflow you would like to accomplish. If we require super collaborative workflow and changes that are visible almost instantly, it needs to be set to something like 5 to 10 seconds. For a more offline environment, it could be much more. The last setting on the screen is the checkbox at the bottom called Automatically Restore Files on the Synchronized Source. It shows whether we would like all the data to be replicated and saved on the synchronized machine, or we would let the user of that machine download them on demand. This is the default unchecked option, and we will leave it like that. When everything is configured, we can click the Apply button to save our preferences and then resume the work of Tiger Bridge. That triggers the immediate replication of the files within our source directory to the cloud. The files start getting these orange tags on top of them. We are done with the Tiger Bridge configuration of our file server and can now proceed to the desktop one. Tiger Bridge is paused here as well, and we have set up a folder called Remote as a Source. The remote folder is currently empty. We have also entered the target information with the exact same container we specified on the other machine. We can click Apply to save this configuration. The replication policy is set to a low number, 2 seconds, so we can have a more real-time sync for the demo. The synchronization is also set to a very low number, 1 second, so we can safely resume the work of Tiger Bridge and minimize it. Going back to the remote folder we specified as source on this machine, if we refresh, we can see that the file structure is already populated and matches the local folder on the file server. If we right-click one of the files and select Properties, we can see that the file currently doesn't occupy any space on the local disk. However, on demand, it can be opened, and that would trigger its download for us to be able to work with it. We will open this one and then make a change, like adding a new sheet and putting a value in one of the cells. Then we can save the file and close it. We can see that the replication occurs and the updated file is in the local folder on the file server. Note the date modified field. Then we can make a similar change to another file in that folder to see the sync in the other way around, from the file server to the desktop machine. When we give the desktop machine a couple of seconds, we can see that it is back in sync. Despite the 3-hour difference, the changes occurred practically at the same time. Another thing we can try is renaming a file on the desktop machine and deleting another file on the file server, just to see that both of these actions would be performed within a couple of seconds. Eventually, the two folders are back in sync. One of the folders gets the changes slightly faster than the other, as one of them is configured to replicate every 5 seconds, and the other one is set to replicate every 2 seconds. This shows the importance of the setting. This is how we got the two machines perfectly in sync without them being connected to one another in a common network or through a VPN. The synchronization scenario of Tiger Bridge can be used for syncing 2 file servers in different offices, 2 desktop machines, or a file server and a client without VPN. If the 2 machines are in a common security context, like an Active Directory forest, for example, and we would like the rights and restrictions to be applied to the machines that are being synchronized, then this setting, Preserve Security Descriptor on Sync, should be checked. Remember that the machine with the blue background here is our file server. Even after the synchronization with the desktop one, it continues to be a fully operational server. This directory called local that we used as a source is currently shared, and its files and subfolders are accessible over the network even without the use of Tiger Bridge. On top of that, these same files and folders can also be accessed and downloaded directly from the Amazon S3 portal. We will open one more machine that is connected to our file server to show the file sharing functionality. This machine has a green desktop and currently doesn't have Tiger Bridge installed. Accessing the file server through the network gives us the familiar content. This concludes the demo of using Tiger Bridge to synchronize data between different machines. Thank you for viewing.